What is going on, comic fam? It's your boy, the bearded comic bro, and I'm back again with my homie Bouff. What is up, my friend?
Hello, sir. It has been ages.
Dude, it has
My
been
fault.
too long.
It's solely my fault. You would have thought that beer ceased to exist and comics went out of style for the gap between our shows.
Right? But we're back. We're back for episode 9 of Craft and Comics, and it has been a hot minute, but I'm excited to talk about what we're going to talk about today, because this is a subject that you introduced me to, which I'm really excited about.
Which is a rarity, because you interview tons and tons of creators. You are like the first guy on the ground with Kickstarters and indies and all the hot stuff, and you are a mecca of Batman knowledge. But I was excited to be able to drop this on you.
I can't wait. But as always, before we hop into what we're talking about, y'all know, because you saw the thumbnail, so it's not like we're just adding this like hidden suspense, like, oh, we're gonna wait to talk about what we're talking about. But we are. So even though you already know. But what are you drinking tonight, my friend?
Well, I don't know if I should just do the beverage reveal without leading into what we're talking about, because
then go for it. Then you lead into it. Lead into it.
It is a themed beverage.
Ooh, I was gonna do a themed beverage, but then I had to go to the store and I was like, I can't do that right now. I don't have the time.
So I'm cracking open an IPA from Burlington Beer Co. We have a New Zealand IPA, Time of the Chimpanzee. And why is this appropriate today, sir?
Oh, because we're talking about the most under talked about show on TV right now. We're talking about Hit Monkey.
What? You mean that there's a monkey that's an assassin in comic books and has an animated series on Hulu? No, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. And he has a ghost spiritual guru that helps him along the way.
Who is the man who essentially trained him?
Yeah. And in the show, he's voiced by Ted Lasso, so you can't even go
absolutely. But this beverage, it drew me for many reasons. One, I needed a gimmicky drink for the show. I love IPAs, New Zealand hops. That's what grabbed me, because I am ignorant as far as, you know, the more exotic hops. You know, I know Galaxy, I know Mosaic, I know the big stuff that makes a New England IPA. But this, let's see. We got some stone fruit on the nose, you know, kind of just, you know, it's cloudy, you know, I'm expecting a juice bomb. Oh, but it's not. There's a little juice on there, but this is dry and bitter, a little resiny finish to it. Ooh, that I like, because I get plenty of juice bombs. Like, I live in the New England IPA area.
Naturally. Yeah, it's funny because when we had talked about doing this episode, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go out and get a victory, like a golden monkey.
Of course, that's
right. Like,
that
was
was if I couldn't find this.
That's like a 9%. I'm like, I don't need that at this hour of the night.
Absolutely, a late night 9% Belgian. That's, you know, that would have been good for our slow sippers episode.
Right. Yeah, that's not for this. So I went with, I mean, you know, my go-to beer is 100% sour beers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a local craft brewery. I feel like it's had to appeared on the show before. This is called Land Grant, and it is Mr. Balloon Hands.
Ooh, that's fantastic.
Right? It is a tart ale with strawberry and lavender.
I can dig that.
Yeah, it's everything that.
Ooh, delicious sound.
Right? It's everything that I like in a sour beer. You get the tartness, you get the different flavors of your strawberries, your lavender. But it just hits a spot for me. If you don't like sour beers, you're not gonna like this at all, but it looks just so beautiful. And it tastes so good.
Fantastic. And those are, I mean, regardless of what the ABV is on a sour, most sours are pretty crushable. Like, even the milkshake sours that are a little thicker, like, and I'll drink them all year long too. Like, it's a summertime beer, ideally,
Right.
but we're not quite in the dead of winter yet, but it's pretty darn
It's
cold out
getting
right
there.
now. This
Four.
is
It's a 4.0. It's
okay.
so this is a light end, which is weird.
I wouldn't expect a variant on this, like, I wouldn't expect it barrel aged, but if it was, instead of, coming from land grant, I would call it Ryland Grant.
Ooh. Ooh, that's a little homage to one of the creators that I've interviewed more than anyone else on my show.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, we got our beers and we hinted at what we're talking about. We're talking about Hit Monkey. So I introduced the episode by saying this is actually a character that you were so excited about when Hulu
Thrilled.
announced that Hit Monkey was coming on TV. I think we all, like, in our group chat in our club of the Comic Collective, were like, what? And you're like, gang, let me tell you about Hit Monkey. So what is your connection with Hit Monkey and why do you love it?
Well, I think, to sound, dumb, it's a monkey that's an assassin. What if the Punisher was a savage, ridiculous suit-wearing primate that, kind of pimped out in clubs and, knew kung fu and kind of killed bad guys? What's not to love? And this was in, I told you a little bit before, a collection I bought years ago that it's been a treasure trove payoff. I'm not one to buy and sell. I keep what I like, and then, it just kind of sits around for a little bit. So I've had this Hit Monkey one shot sitting in a long box for, I don't know, when did Guardians of the Galaxy come out? Like,
Ooh, I don't even know.
2014, maybe?
Probably.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Like, I had full runs of that series that movie was based on in the same collection. It's like, okay, cool, Hit Monkey, and I think it's a Frank Cho cover. I'm like, cool, that's awesome. And here's that grail right
and
here.
That's the first appearance, because they originally did a one shot of it.
That is this one. Yep.
And that's
which is confusing to call a one shot number one. Like, it's
right.
just put one shot there. I just got a little bit of a color breaking fold in the corner, but I mean, it's a sharp copy. Look, I mean, Frank Cho all day. Normally you're going to see, apes and babes and, kind of his signature thing, but this is slick. He's coming right at you. I know nothing about guns, but he's rocking some big ones. And this is a probably the most complete origin story that I've ever read for a character. Not being ridiculous in that respect, but it follows a highly trained hitman in the mountains, kind of just getting out of the way in like these kind of warm spring spas. And he's doing his training, and there's all these white-haired chimps, just living in the snow of some sort of kind of Tibetan area. I haven't reread it in a while, and he approaches one of them that's eyeing his gun on the ground, and I'll give you the best advice anyone ever gave me: don't. Yep. So the monkey backs off, and then unfortunately the hitman, while he's bathing in the hot springs, he gets it. Hot springs, great scene by Dalmor, just the spring flush with red, super bright, and then we see this monkey enraged that this guy he doesn't even know, but he had some sort of connection with. All of a sudden he's hurt, he's heartbroken by it, and you see him mimicking almost in a Taskmaster esque sort of way, smashing the snowman that the guy had built, picking up the guns, firing them off with his feet, like doing like these crazy kung fu moves, and he takes out like a gang. There must be like 8-9 guys.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Other assassins. It's just amazing, and at the end, nice big splash page, like forevermore. This savage primate would be Hit Monkey. He's not wearing a tux. He's not wearing any slick suit. He's covered in blood. Couple of guns in his hand, and then that's the closing page. And then we don't see him again until one brief appearance in Deadpool 19,
right?
Where it's a Deadpool Spidey team up. So people already had their eyes on this book, but that's a kind of a second tier key that flies under the radar right now.
Yeah,
maybe not after the show, but he appears 1-2 panels maybe, hey, why are you letting that monkey into the club? Why are you letting them bring that monkey in? And the bouncer just says to the guy, pardon me, sir, he brought them. Slick suit, got his shoulder holsters, but
So
then
good.
we get number 20, and then he goes at it with Deadpool and Spider-Man, kind of befriends Spidey, does a few selfies, like funny poses. But in this one, you really see all that Hitmonkey
Yeah.
can do without getting much substance behind him. Like he's not like some sort of super animal. He doesn't talk or anything. He understands, and he can kind of have a back and forth, as only Spidey can get, kind of a rapport.
Right.
But he's rocking the guns in his feet, and maybe firing 4 at once, and blows the back of Deadpool's head off, and it's just it's savage. It's also equal parts ridiculous. But even then, we don't get anything behind that. We don't know what happened from that, that bloody mountain scene to him, wearing fine clothes and clubbing, and then, face to face with Deadpool and Spider-Man. I feel the cartoon provides a much better effort on
it. It does. And the one shot was such a success that they actually created a 3-issue miniseries with Hitmonkey. And so you had the one shot, you had the appearances in Deadpool, because that was kind of what Hitmonkey was going to be like. Hey, you're going to be a character in Deadpool. But there was so much buzz about that character from the one shot that they made a 3-issue arc, which is what the show follows along. They follow the one shot through the 1, 2, and 3 issues of Hitmonkey very well. And it's shocking to me because, being comic YouTubers, and I feel like Hitmonkey is not being talked about very much at all. And it's been out for by the time we're recording this episode, it's been out for 2 weeks on Hulu already. And I'm shouting it from the rooftops on every show I get on, gang, go watch Hitmonkey. And people are like, what is Hitmonkey? I'm like, it's a freaking assassin monkey. And he has a ghost mentor. What more do you need?
Yep. Right. Absolutely.
And some a couple times people are like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, no spoiler, but the Hitmonkey literally surfs on a guy's face across pavement one time. I'm like, it's so over the top and extreme, but it's done in such a serious way.
There's emotion, there's stakes.
Yep.
And I have not read that 3-issue mini. I am curious if the ghost mentor appears in that, or is that an original for the show?
Nope. So appears in that, which is where you get that the ghost mentor and everything.
Okay.
In the comic, I think it's Bullseye, but Marvel Television doesn't have access to Bullseye.
Oh, Lady Bullseye.
So it's Lady Bullseye in the TV show, but it was Bullseye in the comic. So it follows along as closely as it can, and it'll be interesting to see what happens, because there's all the higher up stuff that I don't know about between Marvel Television and Marvel Studios, and Marvel Television has the animated rights, but they don't have the live action rights. And so they have to do this dance. And it's just man, y'all just better give me a season 2 of Hitmonkey. I don't care what you have to do.
And maybe that's why people aren't talking about it. It's I don't want to call it a Hulu curse, but I think the same thing happened with MODOK.
Yep.
No one talked about MODOK. It was brilliant. Patton Oswalt was ideal for the role. It was ridiculous. If you like Robot Chicken, you would love this show.
And I think what it is a lot of people have Hulu for TV streaming. That's what we do. So it's easy to have that. But a lot of people don't. When you think of streaming, you think of Prime, you think of Disney Plus, you think of now HBO Max, Netflix, obviously. If you have your television from another location, you're not streaming Hulu to get your cable, people are like, why would I get Hulu? I can get everything else on any of the other streaming channels. So I think it's hurting Marvel Television that it's tied to Hulu. I mean, it doesn't hurt me because I have access to it. And I'm like, and I watched it instantly. I saw it came out, and again, but no one was talking about it. I just turned on my Hulu and I was like, oh, Hitmonkey's out already? Sweet. And I sat and I binged watched it in 2 days. It was great.
Like, you know who loves Hit Monkey? Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith loves Hit Monkey. I mean, that should carry some weight
Right?
among the comic nerd community. And then also, if you're sleeping on Hulu, what, you don't want the entire series run of Golden Girls? What? I mean, that's a perfect bedtime, like, fall asleep. You have a ton of anime. Like, Hulu
Yep.
is definitely something for people who, you know, have an itch to scratch.
Oh, for sure. It pains me because I feel like it's going to be slept on and we're not going to get a season 2. And then people are going to finally discover it and go, why was there only one season? It's like, because y'all aren't watching it right now. Like, get them
Yep.
streams up.
Because the more demand for that, there comes a season 2, then we get more comics. I think people expect, and this is not a diss at all, but expect a property like Squirrel Girl that's purposely amusing, that relies on its ridiculousness
Right.
to tell that story, which she is an excellent character. The series are well written, but it relies on that humor as a, you know, a mechanism to tell that superhero story, to tell that team building, you know, kind of communal sort of person. But not the case here. It's a legitimate action story with you know, a 2-foot, you know, quasi albino monkey as the lead, and it's amazing.
Yeah. And the way they do it, especially, and when I'm talking comic and I'm talking the show, because I just merge it all into one right now
Mhm.
because I've consumed so much of it at one place. And it's so fantastic what they do with it. Is uber violent, but it's done in a way of like, I would expect that. Like, this is what I would expect if you're telling me this is what the premise of the show would be.
Mhm. I think it would perhaps even fall short if it didn't go to the extremes that it did. If it was
Right.
softballed as far as the violence, not that you need violence to tell any story, but this you absolutely do. Otherwise, it would be lacking something.
Hit Monkey was a one-shot comic. It had
Mhm.
3-issue miniseries, and Hit Monkey appeared in Deadpool a handful of times.
That's
And
it.
someone was like, we have less than 9 issues of Hit Monkey. Let's make a TV show off this character. And it works.
Because someone has that crazy money that said, I'm gonna wave this. You like that meme with Fry from Futurama?
Right.
Take my money, do this thing. Yep.
Or the
And
Leo from Wolf on Wall Street. Like,
yep, absolutely. And I wish there were more comic fans like that, comic fans with capital to burn that say, hey, this is my dream. I have a belief in it. Make this happen and people will love it.
yeah.
And I expect with things like this, however quickly they're picked up, however quickly they're devoured,
Right.
they're there. You know, how many things are classics well after their own time? You know, if you want to, we'll kind of maybe lean hard on the Renaissance. Not that Hit Monkey is anything compared to the Renaissance, but people will have a strong appreciation for it in years to come, but not right away. And that's what's gonna to burn it, unfortunately.
Yep. So, any last thoughts as we wrap up this episode of Crafton Comics about Hit Monkey, or anything that you want to just share about it?
Just untapped potential
Yep.
there. And I think that people need to check it out. You know, you probably aren't going to find this in the back issue bins only because the print run on this stuff is so low. Even the Daniel Way Deadpool run is so far gone
Yeah.
that it's probably not sitting anywhere. Like, you know, it just wasn't, it was a fine selling series, but, you know, it's not like you're going to run into you know, a Salvation Army, you know, on any city in the world and find an Indigo Girls album. Like, it's not like that. You know,
Yep.
you are not going to find this anywhere but eBay, specifically seeking it out. I mean, certainly do that. There's a crazy black and white sketch variant of the Hit Monkey one shot. That's going for really high numbers, but you can get it digitally. Just read it. Just appreciate the story. I mean, collectors, sure, grab the keys, but just read the story, demand more, you know, hit the social media and ask for it. People listen.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I would end on too. Like, if you are watching this video and you haven't taken the time to watch Hit Monkey on Hulu, go do that. Like, first and foremost, just go do that. And even maybe before you do that, though, pick up Marvel Unlimited. You can literally read the 4 issues. It's on Marvel Unlimited. I read it after I watched the show, and it's there. And I would just love, there's so much more they can do with this world and this universe. Go out there and watch it. And I'm telling you, you're gonna enjoy it. Gang, with that being said, hopefully you can find some time to curl up, grab a book, and nerd out. Peace.